Hello and welcome back to the Pageant Gal podcast. What are we calling this episode? This episode is going to be a mixture of pageant packing tips, but more importantly, really elite pro strategies of things that you want to be doing at your pageant that instantly make you stand out. And that will make you more comfortable. That will make you just look elite, a little bit more polished. And trust me when I say the things that I've compiled for today's episode, I was like, it's not really, they're not all packing things. Like one of the things I have here isn't packing related, but they're just pro tips and strategies that I feel like I've only learned recently in the pageant world that I so wish I had when I started out. And I don't even think some of these things might have existed when I started out, with the rise of technology and social media. But if you are a gal who is preparing to compete in a pageant that is multiple days long with many days of long rehearsals, if you're someone who is staying at a hotel for a pageant, or if you're someone who has a pageant journey that is very heavy on personal presence, branding, and online social media type things, this episode is going to be for you. And I think that this is going to be like a huge explosion in your mind with what I'm going to share, because knowing these and doing these things are things that whenever I share them with people, they're always like, "What? That is so smart. I never would have thought about that." And it helps them so much. It's going to help you. It's helped me on my pageant journey. And now I feel like it's my duty as Maria the Pageant Gal to impart these on to you. So get ready for this one, okay? This is going to be super valuable. Some of these, I know definitely you'll be able to apply at least one of these on your pageant journey, and the rest that you can't, leave them, give them to another girl, share this episode with a friend. And as a reminder, as much as I love the podcast, and this is a really great resource, the best place to get coaching support and continuous audio training and activations is in our Make It Rain membership, where every single week I'm diving into Telegram, breaking down pageant tips, strategies, winning mindset, identity things, all for literally less than $100 USD a month. It's insane. If you are not in the Make It Rain membership, this is your sign that we literally have women in there in their pageant journey, women who don't know their next pageant, women who have been title holders. It is the most incredible space, and I want you all to be there. So the link will be in the show notes here if you want more coaching and more strategies and tips and guidance from me. It's all in the Make It Rain membership. But for now, let's go into today's episode. So we're calling this like elite pageant pro strategies packing, a mixture of these things. So I'm going to start with a packing related thing that I highly recommend each of you brings. And this was something that especially brought so much insight when I competed at Miss Universe Canada, but I've seen other elite competitors do this. And this is specifically for the girlies who have long rehearsal days, or that you're going to be in rehearsals for a long time, or even if you're just somebody who wants your feet to not be completely dead and numb by the end of the week. You know what I'm saying. And I'm not talking about tips and strategies for like keeping your feet walking in heels or anything like that. This is specifically for like long pageant days where you don't want to wear flats. And not that there's anything wrong with wearing flats, but we all know we feel different when we have a bit of a heel on. We all know that when a gal is able to wear heels day to night, you know that she's a different type of breed. That's someone who I want with me in an apocalypse, okay? Because if you're wearing heels day to night and my feet are about to fall off, you've got some elite strategies up your sleeve. And so one thing that I did and that I've seen some of the best do is that for their pageant journey, they pack a pair of very cute neutral wedges. And wedges, oh my goodness, like you might think, like, what does a wedge make a difference? Like you're still in a heel, you're still putting pressure on your feet. It makes the world of a difference. And this is something that I actually saw a friend of mine do a couple of years ago, and I noticed it, and I noticed her wearing her wedges in almost all the pageant photos she was taking for different events, even though it was a neutral pair. Like you might not think much of it, but instantly I was like, that's a really smart idea, because you're able to wear your pageant heels for, certain rehearsals or certain training. But then when your feet need a bit of a break, that wedge in the middle makes such a big difference in displacing the pressure off your feet and helping you be able to maintain and stay in heels for so much longer. And let me tell you, I brought my pair of wedges to Miss Universe Canada. They broke before the end of competition, so now I'm on the hunt for a new pair. But it made such a big difference. And I will say that the girl who won, who's a friend of mine, and I loved watching her compete, she wore heels the entire time. That girl, I did not see her in flats, rarely ever, maybe an hour out of 8 days. And you could tell that she was someone who knew the game. You could tell that she was someone who wasn't here to be caught in flats, that she always wanted to have this very like put together look. And not to say you can't be put together in flats, but again, if you're in one of these more Grand Slam style systems that value height and value a photo op and want you to be in heels all the time, packing a wedge for your rehearsal is going to be so valuable. And this might not even just be for rehearsal. You might take this and decide to apply it for different pageant events that you're going to in your community when maybe you can't wear a heel, but you don't want to wear a runner or a flat. A wedge is a really great alternative. So, pageant pro tip, packing rehearsal, wear wedges, bring wedges, get a cute neutral pair. Keeps you literally elevated and just polishes and elevates your look a little bit more. The second thing is another packing related thing. I'll do the packing related things first, and then I'll do like the random strategy related things next. The next packing related thing is if you want your photos to look HD, you need to get a photo light. Now, let me tell you, I am going to be the coach who's going to tell you your social media matters. And I'm going to be the coach who I'm going to audit your social media, whether you're in the membership or in the Queen Collective or one on one. I am going to audit your social media and be like, Jennifer, why on earth is this photo so dark? Why does it look like you turned off all the lights and decided this was a good time to take a picture? That's not cute, gals. We don't want photos in the dark. This is right now, it's 2025. We should be able to have bright photos where I'm not squinting to see you on your social media, even outside of editing. What girls are doing, and I actually learned this when I went to Miss USA 2021. 2021, yes, it was actually 2021. That's right. And all of the girls who were competing at Miss USA had these photo lights. So you would go to take a picture with them, and like four girls would come around with their photo lights from Amazon and have the spotlight on you. And the difference this makes in your photos, wow, even if you're just using your phone camera, it makes a big difference. It looks like your photo is high quality, all because you have this bright photo light. And let me tell you, this is not an expensive add-on for to look that much better on your social media. It might be like 40, 50, 60 bucks. You could get ones that attach right to your phone. You could get a handheld one. The one that I have is handheld, and I use it for everything. And let me tell you, it becomes like you're the kid on a playground with a pack of gum and everybody wants a piece. It's like that because it makes such a big difference in the photos. And also, when you're at events, when you're at rehearsal, when you're at pageant week, you just look like you're that girl. You just look like you are someone who has a spotlight on her, who gets the game, who is not here to just take some basic, regular, old, crappy hotel lighting photos. No, the girls who are winning big pageants, who have really great social media looks to them, girls, they are using photo lights. That is not regular that's not regular lighting. That's not regular editing. That is a photo light. And again, it could be as little as, like $40, I think mine was, honestly, from Amazon back in the day. So imagine it's like you have a travel ring light with you, but you're not bringing a whole ring light. Like it should be able to fit in your clutch at different events that you go to. And it makes such a big difference. Such a big difference. And sometimes with some of my clients, I just want to smack y'all and message you and be like, hey, like this doesn't look good on your social media. And if this is what you're putting on your social media, like I can only imagine how that translates in your performance. So get yourself a photo light. It's what the pros are doing. And if you want to be seen as a pro, go and get one. It's like such an it's such a simple expense, but it makes a really big difference. And it showcases that you're someone who means business. On the topic of a similar topic when it comes to social media and looking really stand out. This is something I saw at Miss Universe Canada with a couple of the girls who had these really, outside of the lighting, you could tell their photos online were really crisp. And I didn't know this again. I know that there's so much advancement in technology, but I feel like we haven't adapted all of it in pageants. But there was a couple of girls who had really great crisp photos online. Oh my gosh, girls, it's not from their phone. I remember looking at my iPhone and I'm like, why does my phone not look like as crisp and as blurry? Like, is there something on my camera screen? No, it's because they're using cameras and lenses that are attached that they sync to their phone, and that's where the photos are coming from. It's not just coming from their regular phone, it's coming from a lens of some kind. I should have found out probably what kind it was, maybe like a handheld Canon type of phone. But that's what's causing these photos to look very HD outside of the lighting. You could tell like when a photo looks like it was taken with a professional camera. And that's what they are literally doing. And let me tell you, the two girls who I saw had one were both in the top three at nationals. And their photos look great. And one of them actually won the social media award. I was top three for it. Maybe if I had this idea in the bag, I would have won the social media award. But my loss is your gain. Not to say that you have to go buy a whole fancy camera that's like thousands of dollars, but if you wanted to invest a couple $100s in a camera that will make sure your photos are even more crisp, not even just for pageant week, but leading up to your competition, beyond things that you can use for sponsors, things that you can use at other events. People always want to know, like, how do you look like a pageant pro? How do you get people to want to work with you, to sponsor you? It's by taking it to the next level. Okay? Like let's be real. It's taking it to the next level. None of these strategies are for girls who want to be basic and blend in. Because guess what? When you have a photo light, when you are wearing heels all day, when you have a camera to take your pictures so that the quality on your social media is that much better, you are not the type of girl who wants to be basic, who wants to be second, or who wants to blend in. So I know if any part of you is listening to this episode and you're like, "Ah, this is so extra, I'm not going to go and do that." Like, girl, like maybe the spotlight just ain't for you. But this is for the girls. If you're like, heck no, Maria, I want the spotlight. I'm just telling you, I'm just the messenger here. That is what the girls are doing. That is what the gals are doing to take up their spotlight. They're thinking of that next level look online, and they're making it happen by getting the right tools and resources and not having a camera or a phone that makes it look like there's this blurry film. Oh my goodness, don't even get me started. A blurry film. Like, if your photos are blurry online, so help me, Lord. No, gal, do you think Miss Universe is posting photos with blurred lenses and things like that? Go get a new phone with a screen and with a lens that isn't cracked or dusty or something like that. Again, pageantry is about image, it's about brand, and you want to make sure that yours looks very high quality. It is always, always, always better to be on the higher quality side than on the low quality side. Like with branding, with anything really, you always want to put yourself in that top group of how you look and how you're being perceived. Otherwise, it could come across as messy. It does. And it looks like you don't take it as seriously. So pageant pro tip, photo light. Pageant pro tip, camera and a lens that connects to your phone. I could give you the recommendation of the camera that I have, but I know I invested in this whole like big camera system that it's so honky. Like, you're not bringing that to your pageant with you. Again, these girls had something smaller. I'll have to eventually ask them and then share that with all of you. Okay, a non-packing related tip. I have two non-packing related tips, and then I'm going to close out this episode because I want this to be nice and short and sweet for you to go and do and implement. Non-packing related episode or non-packing related thing is to batch your Instagram captions ahead of time for your pageant. Pageant week is busy. Currently, right now, at the time of filming this, I have a client competing in Ecuador. This is her first year in pageantry. She did very well at her national competition. She trained with me in the Queen Collective. She did very well at nationals, and the organization, she was first runner up, and they said, even though you didn't win the title, we want to send you internationally. You're going to go to Ecuador. And she had 3 weeks to prepare. It's been a nuts time. And she's like, Maria, they want me posting so consistently. I just don't have the time. She's like, it's not even that I'm tired. She's like, we're just busy day to night. I'm having to make captions while I'm like in the bathroom on a 2-minute break that I have. And that's sometimes how busy pageants are. Aside from being tired, aside from needing sleep and literally being on the go, you just might not have time to make a caption for a simple Instagram post. How are you going to do that? How are the girls doing it? They're not making it all in the moment. Two main things that women have that you wouldn't expect. One, they have people doing their social media for them. Okay? If don't think that all these girls are doing it all themselves. They're thinking smart. They're thinking, if I'm not going to have time to do this in a quality way, I'm going to hire someone for a week or for a month to make sure my social media is on point, who I can send all my content and captions to and post it for me. A lot of women are doing that. I had a couple of sister queens that would have their husbands or their boyfriends do that for them. I've had Carlos do that for me several times. I'll send him a couple photos and be like, can you please edit this out and send it to me? And he does. Or what they're doing and or is they're batching their Instagram captions ahead of time based on what they think the events will be. Now, not always are you going to get a detailed schedule of your pageant that you can actually use and base this off of, but you can have a pretty good idea, right? Day one, day two, day three. Make a caption for a rehearsal, make one for a dinner, make one for a sponsored outfit. Do it ahead of time when you have the sanity and when you actually have the time and the clarity to do it. That way, when you want to go post, it saves you even that 5-10 minutes that you would think about a post or the hashtags, and you just copy and paste. I did this before Miss Universe Canada. I batched 36 captions. I was only there for 8 days, but I batched 36 captions. Why? We work smarter, not harder. Smarter, not harder. So, Pageant Pro tip: batch Instagram captions ahead of time, especially if you're going nationally or internationally, somewhere where you're going to have a very packed schedule. All right, my last tip of the day for this episode, Pageant Gals. P.S. I want you to pause this episode and send me a message on Instagram at the Pageant Gal. Let me know which one of these has been most insightful or helpful for you, because I do pageants full time. This is my full time gig. So to me, these things are just, it's not even that they're common. They're just so second nature to me. I don't think of them, but I know that if I knew these things starting my pageant journey, I would have been gobsmacked about them and I would have really loved to know. So if any of these are really insightful to you or you're going to implement them, send me a DM on Instagram and I want to hear which one are you going to do or which one were you really interested to hear. Last Pageant Pro tip, and this is one of my favorite ones that nobody taught me this. Nobody taught me this. This was a Maria only thing that I learned when I was competing at Royal International Miss. Now, I did Royal International Miss back in 2021. It was a COVID rollover year, meaning that 2020 was COVID. They still had the pageant, but a lot of girls deferred their participation to 2021 due to the restrictions and travel and all of that good stuff. So a ton of the girls who didn't compete in 2020 rolled over to 2021. So there were like double the amount of delegates that there were. There were over 340 girls from around the world competing. Them plus all their families, plus all of the staff of the pageant, plus all of the workers of the pageant, plus all of the regular people at the hotel and everything like that. Long story short, there was a lot of people at this event over this week. And this is when I learned this tip. Get yourself a room on a low floor. A room on a low floor. And this is specifically speaking to those of you who are competing in a pageant at a hotel, where you are at the hotel is where you're staying at. Because let me tell you, when you have 8 a.m. rehearsal, or when you have events going to midnight and you've got to be up at 5 a.m., waiting 30 minutes, and that is not an exaggeration, 30 minutes plus for an elevator is the thing that will take me out of my sanity. And that's not what I'm here to wait for. I'm not here to wait for no elevator. I need to get to bed. I need to get to rehearsal. And if you're anything like me, I get a little bit nervous and like anxious having to wait. I don't like waiting to go, especially down. I don't like waiting to go down and just being like, oh my gosh, when's the elevator going to get here? No, I want to know that one, I'm going to get off at the first floor that the elevator stops at. And two, if I had to use the stairs, I'm not walking up 20 flights. Yes, I know the view is probably beautiful. It's probably much better on like the 20th or 30th floor. But you know where my booty is going to be? On like the fourth or fifth floor, where I'm not waiting an extra 30 minutes for the elevator, possibly being late to rehearsal, possibly being late for events, sacrificing an extra 30 minutes of sleep just because I got to wait for 200 other people to get the elevator. No, ma'am, that is not me. And I learned that at Royal International Miss. So the following year, when I went back as a title holder, I told them, give me a floor on a low room. Even though I'm a queen, doesn't mean I want to be late and waiting and all of these things. And again, at Miss Universe Canada, I did the same thing. Me and my roommate were on one of the lower floors. And every single night when there are like 20 people packed in an elevator and other girls have to go to floors 21, 22, 23, we were getting off at floor 7. We were always the first ones off, and it was always easy to get an elevator to go down. And if we ever needed, we took the stairs. And it makes that much of a difference, especially, and you might think, well, Maria, I want the views. I get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, when you are exhausted after 7 days of getting like 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, and you're constantly having to wait, and you're not just waiting, you are, first of all, absorbing the energy of everybody around you, and everyone else is usually tired and cranky. And then two, you're standing in your heels, or you're just standing on your feet for that much longer. It's tiring, and you got to save your energy. You got to save your feet when you can at pageant week. especially for those of you who aren't bringing wedges like I just recommended now. So get a room, request a room on a low floor, and I'll call the hotel ahead of time. I'll ask them, be like, give me the lowest floor that you can. And girls are always so impressed, even though they're like, I love the room that I have. Like, that's a really great tip. And again, this is only going to be for those of you who actually take it and implement it, because obviously not everybody can get a low floor, but makes a really big difference at your pageant. Something that you might have literally never thought about has saved me many, many, many times. So, with that being said, gals, that is all for today's episode. I could probably make a whole other episode if you want to. Please let me know, and I will do that for you in another future podcast episode of more pageant pro packing / pageant pro preparation tips when it comes to your pageant. Because again, in the pageant gal world, we're not here to be second. We're not here to do things sloppily. We're not here to be messy. We're not here to be in the back. We are here to be front and center, in the middle of the stage, in the crowning moment. And therefore, we do things and we set ourselves up for success, whether that's looking better on social media, feeling more comfortable but still polished and put together in rehearsal, or even getting an extra 20 to 30 minutes of sleep because we thought about the room that we're going to have at our hotel and we made sure that it was in a place where we could get to it fast and get rest when we need. Those are the ways of the elite pageant gal that we do. So again, send me a message on Instagram. Which one of these is your biggest takeaway? Which one of these are you implementing? And as always, chin up, gal, crown on, and go get ready to conquer the rest of the week, the rest of your pageant journey. And I can't wait to see you in another episode.